Hi, my name is Jodie Fam. I'm the CEO of Capel Medical. Capel Medical is a company focused on neurovascular interventions and devices for access and for ischemic stroke. Very excited about the neurovascular space. It's one market area for medical devices that continues to grow. The patient population and the opportunity for patients we continue to serve increases. It's a market that's full of great growth, particularly on the ischemic stroke area. And we see new therapies coming forward that are continuing to expand the space and the opportunity for innovation. So I think the current landscape for catheters in the thrombectomy space continues to evolve. I think today there's certainly a debate on size and sizing the right catheter to the right size vessel. And I think some of that data will continue to play out. Varying companies, including ourselves, have taken different approaches to that. And I think really what the market rewards is innovation. As to the future, I think we'll see a lot that will come out in clinical data. Again, I still think innovation gets rewarded by the market and by our clinicians. And I think the breadth of offering, we continue to see more and different vessels treated, going from a large, more proximal occlusion in stroke to treating more smaller vessels and the tools that are required for physicians to successfully do that. I think there's been a massive evolution as to how physicians treat mechanical thrombectomy. I've been involved in a lot of companies and a lot of these technologies over the years, and I think the initial, sentinel data around stent retrievers really moved the needle on more patients getting treatment. I think aspiration really came to the fore in that it was perhaps more cost-effective and perhaps easier, and later trials proved out that it was perhaps on par with the results for patients in mechanical thrombectomy with aspiration. But really what we see now is I think physicians try and employ a lot of different techniques. And, we're excited about aspiration, as are many others, as it's generally employed in most mechanical thrombectomy procedures. We've gone away from those days where it was very binary of just aspiration only or stent retriever. And I think, aspiration's employed either as a solo attempt or in combination with a stent retriever. And I think that's why a lot of companies and investors are excited about aspiration in the space, because it's really the tool that's employed primarily in all mechanical thrombectomy procedures. So I think with some of the regulatory process with FDA, there's a lot of rigor on the bench and sometimes animal studies that we need to perform. And I think having a clear path as to what's required and executing on that becomes important. It also becomes important in using that to get to market. As we know, with CE mark and under MDR, there's more emphasis being put on the clinical data. We now actually enter the US market quite frequently first with these devices to gain the clinical evidence that supports our submission now for CE mark. So it takes us a little longer now to get into Europe and other markets that accept the CE mark because of that. But we're utilizing the US clinical data to allow us to get to other markets globally. So what we love about the neurovascular space, and I think all of us that participate in it, is that it's a global one. And yes, we're often very focused on the US and CE mark in Europe because it allows us not only access to those regions, but also to others. And I think it would be great to see even further harmonization of some of those regulatory agencies to reach further parts of the world and get products to market faster in a more cost-effective manner. There's different price points, as we know, for technologies in different regions, and I think that's where, as we talked about innovation, it's innovation for the product and its benefit, its clinical benefit, but it's also innovation in terms of truly providing value that really fiscally is acceptable in many markets. I think the key message for all of us in this neurovascular space is truly defining what innovation is and what that means, and it still needs to bring value to the physician and to their patients. And I think how we bring that to market too. Innovation, things get more complicated, as we talked about, of how you bring technology and new innovation to market. Being cognizant of that pathway, that it's not too complicated. But I think it's getting out of the space of creating something that's just competitive to truly something that's bringing a clinical value and is an unmet need for our physicians and their patients. And I think that's something we strive for at Capel also. Something the attractive thing about the neurovascular space is it continues to evolve, even in short periods of time. We've seen it in stroke in a matter of 5 or less years, and I think it will continue. I think there's new procedures, there's new techniques, there's new devices that are being developed and being tested by many companies today. I think we'll see a host of new procedures that is available for our physicians to treat more patients with new disease states, and that's incredibly exciting.